Hey everybody, it's Joyce here from Black Hair Compass, and I am back with another video. And today it's exactly as it was last time. I'm giving you guys an update on where I stand with my lock comb out while I'll be combing out one of my locks. And so I guess I'll start with what I have been seeing in my locks. And interestingly, The interesting thing about combing out your locks dry is that because I don't have like conditioner and water in my hair, I'm able to actually see what's coming out of my locks. And for the most part, a lot of it is lint. Like, while I didn't have any visible lint on the surface of my locks, I certainly have lint on the inside that when I'm combing it out makes it difficult because the lint attaches to my split ends, and so it like is stuck on the hair, and then it causes a knot, etc., etc. But the more interesting thing is that there's like this residue in my hair, and it's not in all of my locks. It's not in all of them, but there are a few where what it feels like is, you know, the consistency of castor oil. That's what it feels like when I comb out my locks. You know, I'll be feeling it, and I'm like, what is this? What is this like wax feeling on my hair? Because if you guys have followed my lock journey, you know that I have been very careful about not putting anything on my locks because, you know, residue buildup in your locks is a real danger to the longevity of your lock journey and the health of your lock journey. So you have to be very careful about not putting products on your hair that will build up. So like butters and like waxy products, like you gotta avoid them, and you have to stick to water soluble things because they'll build up. And I did that. The only things I was using on my hair was Dr. Bronner's soap and oil for the most part, and I'll be combing out my locks and this castor oil like stuff will be like on my fingers, and then when I rub it, it like comes off of my fingers and it's like this little ball, and I'm like, what is that? And it almost feels like castor oil, and so I'm like, I wonder what it is. I wish there was a way that I could test it to identify like what the substance is, because I'm like, I did put castor oil in my hair very briefly because I didn't know any better, and then I realized from that one application, like, okay, this is too thick. But I'm like, even if it's not castor oil and it's like other oils, because I regularly use coconut oil on my hair, but I didn't even really use it on my hair. I only used it on my scalp, and yet, you know, the insides of some of my locks have this like residue in it. And I'm like, I thought I was getting all this stuff out, and not even so much out. It's like I thought I was taking great care to never put it in. But there's certainly residue in some of my locks. So I was like, okay, that's kind of strange. Another thing that I have noticed in continuing with my lock comb out, and by the way, I've been doing this for like 2 months now. I'm now entering my 3rd month of doing this. But what I'm seeing is that, and I think I casually mentioned it in one of my previous videos, is that the hardest part of combing out locks is this part. Like, you see how this is all skinny? When it gets bunched here, ooh Lord, this part is so hard to comb out. It's so hard. Like, that little fat part will by itself, well, maybe that's not a good example. Let me find another one. Like, yeah. So it's like, it's kind of skinny, and then it gets fat. Like, this part alone, just this portion will take 45 minutes. Just that. And so on 2 of my locks, I kind of gave into temptation, and I just cut the bunched end off, and then it took me 30 minutes to comb out the rest of the lock. And so, you know, that's the temptation that I'm currently fighting, because I'm like, you know, I want to try to preserve as much length as I possibly can, but I'm like, at what point does it stop being worth it? I don't know. The other thing that I've noticed, and I keep talking to my husband about it, and he's like, I don't see what you're talking about, but I'm like, it's there, he just doesn't see it. But so when I showed you guys my hair after combing it out, like, it looks good. You know, it's not raggedy. You know, it looks good. But what I am noticing is that my hair is not behaving the same way, and I started to think, is it because like the porosity of my hair changed or something like that? And then I started to understand, like, no, my hair is behaving differently. And I was like, oh, is it the weather? No, my hair is behaving differently because the density on the ends of my hair is not the same as my roots. Like, I have less density at the ends of my hair than I do up here, and it's not visible to the eye. Like, you can't really tell by looking at it, but I can tell because my hair is behaving differently because it doesn't have as much weight to it, because some of that density was removed while I was coming out my locks. Like, the ends were probably breaking, and also it's I can feel it. Like, this feels pretty thick, but then when I put my hand up here, it's like it feels much thicker at my roots. And so I know one of my viewers commented on my last video, like, don't cut anything until you like finish the whole thing, and then like see what your whole head's looking like and then cut. But I'm like, but I know when I cut those bunched ends off, I'm cutting off length. But I'm like, it's also probably the same area that would have a little bit less density because it's so hard to comb out. And so that's, you know, just something that's kind of annoying me. But I feel like it's something that's just me, because when I have my husband look at it or I have my friends look at it, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, they don't see it, but I know it's there because I am familiar with my hair and I know how it behaves in a blowout and how it just behaves in general. But I do think the better thing to do would be to just wait, like finish combing out all of my locks and then see, like, okay, does this need a trim? Do I need to take some inches off? Like, you know, but it's bothering me because I'm like, I think I'm like probably 2/3 of the way done, maybe. And you know, it bothers me. And I think that's probably my OCD coming out, where things are not organized and perfect and consistent. I don't have consistent density throughout my hair. Even if it's slight, because I'm aware of it, it bothers me. So I have to like stop myself from focusing on that too much, because I don't like that. Like, I'd rather just have uniform density all the way through, but like right now I don't have that because, you know, the comb out took some of my hair. It broke some of the hair at the end. And again, it doesn't look terrible, it doesn't look raggedy, but I can still see it. The other thing is that, like as I mentioned before, I've been at this for like 2 months, going into my 3rd month. And, you know, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I'll just say it, like, I almost contemplated cutting my hair last week. Like, my husband left the house to go get some pizza, and it was just me and the scissors. And I was looking at the scissors like, I could just do this real quick before he even gets back, and he'll just come back in my hole and I'll just have cut my hair. Because it's taking so long, which I knew it was going to, right? But it's one thing to know that it's going to take you a long time. It's another thing to be like, wow, I've been doing this for 2.5 months and I still have a ways to go. Like, it's taking a long time, and I was losing a little bit of steam. And to be entirely honest with you, I still kind of feel that way. It's just I'm not putting as much pressure on myself to do as much, like, because at first when I started, I was like, okay, my goal is to comb out like 3 or 4 locks a day. I can't do that anymore. I just don't have it in me to do that right now. And I'm like, maybe that's what it is. Like, maybe I just give myself freedom to like go at a new pace and not, you know, force myself to go super fast. But I just don't. I'm like, man, I was so close to cutting it. But then I'm like, man, would I regret that? Like, would I regret that? I don't know. Like, I'm just like, let me just finish. Like, let me just stop thinking about cutting my hair and just finish. You know, just try to get through it and just finish. And then see what it's looking like and make a decision there. I guess my fear is that I will have spent all of this time combing out my locks only to get to the end and not be happy with, you know, how it's looking, and then end up cutting it and then be like, oh, I could have just cut it, you know, 3 or 4 months ago, instead of making combing out my locks a part of my life. And as I'm sure you guys have noticed, so I was able to like get through the front section and I braided up my hair. Like, I honestly, it's been so long since I braided hair, and I don't even mean just for the time that I had locks, but I mean, I haven't braided my hair in so long that I didn't even know I knew how to braid. Okay, I braided my hair. I was like, oh, I know how to braid. I know how to braid. So, you know, I did that. A friend of mine was like, yeah, if you know how to braid, then maybe you don't need to go to a braider. The thing is I am trying to go for a specific look. I'll probably insert a picture so y'all can see what I'm doing. It's like that tribal Fulani look. And for that style, you need to know how to do feed-in braids. And I don't know how to do feed-in braids. I know how to cornrow my hair. Now I realize I know how to cornrow my hair. So, you know, I know how to do that, but I don't know how to do, you know, the feed-in look. So what I did was, I haven't had time to really like spend on it thus far. But you know how a while ago I bought the mannequin to show y'all how to interlock your hair? I had this one, and I even practiced the braid on her. I went ahead and I got another mannequin head, but this one has like kind of like blown out hair, and I've decided that I'm just gonna practice on her until I learn how to do the feed-in braids, because I don't know how to do it yet. And I'm like, I can't practice right now because all of my free time is really going to combing out my locks. But ultimately, I would like to know how to braid, and not even really for my girl. I didn't realize how expensive braids were. I did not know how expensive braids were. So I know that I'm not doing it for just myself. I'm trying to do it for my daughter too, because my daughter's at an age where she doesn't really like getting her hair done. So I need to find a style that will last her for a while, and braids will do that. But let me tell you something. I went on there looking. I did not realize that getting your hair braided like in the style that I want, that's easily $200 or $250. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I have not paid money for my hair in years. I told you guys the last time I got a professional, the last time I paid somebody to do my hair was when I had a relaxer in like middle school. So I'm really out of the loop. And that time that I was pregnant with my first baby and got my hair braided, and I guess I should remember then because I did pay $200, but I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I forgot that it was so, that's expensive. I guess it's not expensive, but I'm not used to spending money on hair. So I didn't realize, you know, getting your hair braided like that, you gonna spend $200, $250. I didn't know that. So I would like to know how to braid so that I can save myself some coins. Because, you know, I was like, if I don't really know what I want to do with my hair next, I might just have braids be my thing. You know, I might just keep my hair braided up. But it's expensive. Like, if you want to keep your hair braided and you're going and, you know, you're following their rule, you know, their suggestion of keeping in braids for only 6 to 8 weeks, that means you got to go every 6 to 8 weeks and get your hair braided. That's over the course of a year, that could cost you some money. So I don't know. I want to learn how to braid again so that I can keep my daughter's hair in a way that, you know, she's cool with, and it'll look okay for a while and she won't have to have it done so often. But also for myself, because I'm like, I would like to have my hair braided, but I didn't realize, I just have been out of the loop for so long. I didn't realize how expensive it was to get your hair braided. I just didn't know. So yeah, so once I finish with the locks, if I have time, I'm gonna start practicing on my new mannequin head. I already bought some hair from the beauty supply store, and I'm gonna practice feeding it in, and then hopefully I can, you know, do it well enough so that it actually looks right. Because the thing is, I'm like, I really appreciate when people know how to do their own hair, but I don't like when you can tell that somebody did their own hair. You know what I'm talking about. When you go to a professional, it looks clean and crisp, and you know, it looks professional. And then you can also tell when someone was like, I don't want to go to a professional, and they just did it themselves, and you can tell. Like, I Like, I don't want that. If my hair is gonna end up looking like you can tell it was DIY, then I'll just go to a professional. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I just wanted to give you guys an update on where I stand with the Locs comb out and where I am now. Like, this is pretty much all. I have the top of my head left. It feels like I have an eternity left to go, to be honest. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I knew it was gonna be like this. I knew it was gonna be like this. But anyways, thanks guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.